Hey friends, welcome to my channel, and I'm doing a little unboxing, and this is Ask the Witch Tarot, which I've not seen a walkthrough of. I've not actually seen any cards apart from the ones on the front and back of the box, which look quite fun. So without any further ado, let's get into the box. Well, first off, this looks to me like a very upset empress. It looks like a fun deck, you know. Look at the sandals. So this is illustrations by Simone Pace, edited by Francesca Mattioni. It is a red wheel tarot deck. And we have, is it a magnetic? Yes, we have a magnetic box. I do like a magnetic box. Love it. Okay. No idea what size the cards are, so let's get into it and have a little look, shall we? Tarot Wisdom from a Timeless Coven. From what I can gather, this is all tarot based on witches of history. Okay, so we've got a little guidebook here. Is that glue there? Not quite sure. Might be. It is 127 pages long. Okay, alright, so it would seem we've got entries, full page entries for majors, and sort of a little bit of an entry for the minors. What else have we got here? Reading and interpreting, card of the day, 3-card spread, there's a spread there. Oh wow. Okay, so at the back here we've got who the witches are. So the Fool is Crazy Jane. The Empress Morgan Le Fay. That's pretty cool. So that's for the majors. What about the minors? No, it doesn't look like it's. Minors have just got the sort of little few key phrases. 6 of Wands, you have travelled far to prove your worth, which is finally acknowledged. Curiosity, empathy and humility guarantee a happy return. Okay. It's stitched book, which is brilliant. I do like a stitched book. So what we've got here, Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the history of tarot cards, witches in the tarot cards and how to use this deck. Soul. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith system with a unique trait. So witches travelling on brooms in their cauldrons, coming out of the trees and dark waters, brandishing blades, hiding bags of magic herbs. All the witches in the deck encourage you to look beyond their image and scrutinise the details. Symbols. So here we have Crazy Jane. So we've got a full rendition of the artwork and then a full page, and then it says witches spells. So for the Fool we have potential, innocence, imagination and freedom, upright and negative, aimlessness, superficiality and thoughtlessness. Okay, and we've got the same for the minors, an upright and a reversed meaning. Alrighty, so we've got a box within a box. It's just a tuck box within the main box. There's no ribbon or anything to get it out with. Just a plain cardboard box. Alrighty. So here we have the tuck box with that. That's got to be the Empress. I'm dying to read the entry for the Empress. I might just skip and do that right now. It's intriguing me. So we're going to start with the cup suit, then the pentacles, swords, wands, and then on to the majors. So I will just separate them out and we'll do the majors first. And let's just firstly actually have a look at the size of these cards. Crazy Jane, she's brilliant, isn't she? So I would say the actual image is a little bit wider than a Rider-Waite-Smith, because like we've got that border around there as well. I mean, the actual size of the card, yes, it's bigger. top and bottom. But if you actually look at the image itself, it's probably the same height. Maybe a little bit more. Cardstock. Nice. It's nice cardstock. It's not flimsy, it's not going to bend. It might warp. I mean, you will get that sort of warp there, but nothing too drastic, I don't think. So here we have Crazy Jane. Tip in the barrel. Oh, that's funny. That's Crazy Jane. Okay. The Magician. It's got a temple there. Gosh, this is going to be really interesting, actually. It's maybe... well, I'm going to look at the guidebook as I'm going through this. I think it'd be to know which witches... We're talking about which witches. I like the back. It's like a maze. Yeah. Alright, so the Magician is Circe, daughter of the sun. And it tells you a little bit actually about the mythology. So it's a story. Okay. I like a lot. High Priestess. Oh, that's an interesting image. It says Cumaean Sibyl. So we've got a crone and a young face together. How interesting is that? So this is near Naples, and this is Sibyl in her cave. Righty, okay. Yes, it was the Empress, and it's Cerridwen. So the Welsh witch, Cerridwen. I know this story when she made the brew for her son, and the helper licked some of it and actually had all the magical properties instead of the sun. I think that's the story anyway. Emperor on top of the tower that's collapsed there. Or she, it's Morgan Le Fay. So you've got the legend here of Morgan Le Fay, or one of them, a mother figure for Arthur. Saraswati is the Hierophant, a Hindu goddess representing the flow of consciousness. Okay. The Lovers. What do we have for the Lovers? We have Titania. It's got sort of a comic book feel imagery to it, I think. That's what it's reminding me of. Then we have the Chariot, and this is Holder from a Germanic legend. Strength. Wow. Is that Joan of Arc? Yes, Joan of Arc. Also, okay. The Hermit. So who do we have? The Hermit. We have the Witch of Endor from Israel. The Wheel of Fortune, and that's the Fates. And there's spinning, measuring, and cutting the thread of life. Okay, so here we have Justice at 11. So this is Sedna. That's the Arctic. Hanged Man is Luanatar. There you go. Make of that what you will. I don't know. So this is from Finland. Okay. And we have then Death. Well, look at that tree in the shape of a skull. And this is Baba Yaga. I love the story of Baba Yaga. And then we have Temperance. Biddy Early. So where's this one? It's a 19th century Irish myth. It's going to be like a storybook, isn't it? A storybook tarot. So now we've got the Devil, and this is Lilith. Oh, poor Lilith. She just get some bad press. I like Lilith. It looks like we've got the Lovers here as well. The Tower. Oya. I thought it was Kali. No, it's Oya. Nigeria. Okay, so the Star, Aradia. And this is from No, it doesn't say. And then we have Moon, and this is Hecate. And Hecate is the guardian of the crossroads. The Sun. It's got to be Egyptian, hasn't it? The Sun. Yeah, bastard. Beautiful. Makes total sense. Judgment is Befana. Okay, a little bit like a Santa Claus type energy there. Throwing the gifts down for the children. And then our world card, the final card, is Zhuangmu. Chinese. There we go. Right, so that's the majors. Yeah, it's a very sort of, what's it remind me of? This Might Hurt tarot. That sort of colouring and imagery, you know, type of imagery. This Might Hurt tarot. Definitely reminded me of that. Right, so it came, let's have a look. The Minor Arcana. Yeah, that's weird actually, because it does go the Golden Dawn sequence, starting with wands. So wands, cups, swords and pentacles, even though it didn't come packaged that way. So I will just separate them. Are they colour coded? Sort of. So it's just, yeah, they look a bit colour coded actually. Alright, so we'll start with the ones which have like a blue sort of colour to them. We've got our Ace of Wands. It's a normal sort of image we get for an Ace of Wands there. Right, I'm just going to have a little read and see if there's any sort of correlation to a witch. No, it's none of it is. Alright, so the Minor Arcana has no association to a specific witch. They are pretty much Rider-Waite-Smith. So I'll just do a silent walkthrough of the minors so you can get a look at them. So, thoughts on the deck. Well, the court cards I think are really, really interesting. For instance, all the knights are on birds. Love that Knight of Swords. Actually reminds me of the Thoth a bit. And look at that peacock. Cool. I really like these court cards. This one, very much a Rider-Waite-Smith, but here we've got a rabbit for some reason. Not sure why. And we have a starfish for the page, but I'm looking for the fish. And it seems to have been replaced with a starfish. The Page of Swords seems to have some sort of a bird there. which relates to air, doesn't it? And swords is air. Most of the pages are standing on the earth, apart from the Page of Cups, who's by the water. And then we've got a Page of Pentacles. And this use of masks on some of the cards is quite intriguing as well. And this Pentacle's on fire. Again, a bit strange. And we have a badger as their familiar. I would think these are their familiars, actually. Yeah, they're going to be the familiars, thinking about it. And especially on the knights. Definitely be familiars. So our Queen of Wands has still got her cat. Yeah, nice cat. Strange looking lady there. And the Queen of Cups is on a whale. The Queen of Swords is very interesting, the way that this apple's been cut. And apples can be indicative of knowledge, can't they? So yeah, and she's actually cut herself on the sword. Very sharp. And the familiar seems to be a fox down there. And then our Queen of Pentacles also seems to have a fox. And also making a sign. Do you see that sign there with the hands? And then the kings, let's have a little look at the kings. We have a wild cat, maybe a lynx for this familiar. So much fiery energy there. And then we have, what do we have here? Water, fish, and half submerged in that water. It's very much of the element. So our King of Swords here, he's got a very sort of a cold feel, you know, with the snow here and a white fox. And it seems to be actually part of the clouds. And then the King of Pentacles seems to be part of the tree. And has a stag, as it's familiar. Even the face looks like a tree. I think those court cards are really intriguing. The minors, I'm a little disappointed with. When given, you know, the rest of the deck is so intriguing to me, then these here pips, or minors, they're not giving me anything that the Rider-Waite-Smith doesn't give me. And there's not a lot of information, I don't think, in the book. We'll draw a card from each major, one from a major, one from a minor, and see the book entries. But yeah, they're not really giving me much more than a Rider-Waite-Smith. Maybe that will alter when I read the book. So apparently each suit is a story. So that could be quite interesting. But then I suppose it is just the Fool's Journey, but from a witch type perspective. So anyway, the other thing I was going to say, I think I said earlier in the video that this actually reminds me of another deck. And the other deck I was thinking of was this one, the This Might Hurt Tarot. Because I think the art style is, all the colours and the, I don't know, see what you think. I'll just show you a few cards. A little more modern maybe, but I don't know, it's sort of... I don't know, what do you think? I mean, obviously it's not a witch focus deck. A more modern feel to a Rider-Waite-Smith, but I don't know, I was just getting sort of echoes of it. Right, so for instance, right, let's just look at this Ace of Pentacles here. And then the Ace of Pentacles in the... Yeah, I don't know, it's just... This one obviously isn't in order, so it's a bit difficult to actually do them side by side. And that would make this video so long. So I am not going to do that. Yeah, maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. It's those vibrant colours. I think they really made me think of this deck. But yeah, that's the This Might Hurt Tarot. If it's one you're interested in, by the by, it is going to come out mass market. Liminal 11 are going to produce it. I think they already have. I don't know if it's available yet. But it's a beautiful deck and a nice alternative to the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's sort of a more, as you can see from just flipping through the cards there, it's more of a sort of a modern take on that Rider-Waite-Smith that we all know and love. So there's an option. Okay, so that's This Might Hurt Tarot. Now, what I'm going to do, I think I'll draw a cut card. I'm looking at this one here, this Queen of Wands. We'll have a look at the book for that one. Then I'll have a look at a pip one, and then I'll have a look at a major one. It won't be too long because the entries aren't very long in the guidebook from what I can tell. So this Queen of Wands, it says, I'll put the card there so you can see it. Witch, shaman, friend of the fairies and of the hidden people, healer and caster of spells, we have before us the Queen of Wands, the lady of sorcery, dispenser of herbal knowledge, generous, absorbed by her world, but quite able to carry on the most banal of conversations with brilliance. Willful, extravagant, and unpredictable. One moment she's present, and the next she is off to mysterious destinations to avoid her boredom with common mortals. She may be a bit too egocentric, but she is always willing to come to the aid of the most fragile. After all, she is the one with magic mushrooms who sees through the eyes of cats, which I like that. So, witch's spells: positive, non-conformity, lively intelligence, self-confidence and optimism, and the negative, vengefulness, egoism, arrogance, intrusiveness. Nice, I like that. So now let's try one from the minors. Should we go for a difficult one? Should we go for a sword? Let's go for the Nine of Swords. So yeah, I mean, typical depiction here of the Nine of Swords. I don't know what this is down here though. So we've got a fighter down there. So maybe this is what the nightmare is. Okay, let me find the Nine of Swords. Okay. So our Nine of Swords says, however you read it, the Nine of Swords is a card of pain. The witch awakens from a nightmare, crying. The real world and her inner anxiety mix, blurring the lines between one and the other. Her mind is confused and her chest is heavy. The cause of her suffering is unimportant. Suffering takes each part of us and twists it. In order to react, particularly in this case, you must accept the situation and then save yourself with any means possible. Ask for help. So it doesn't reference this image on the base of the bed here. Positive, painful awakening, hope through acceptance. Negative, how can that be positive, painful awakening? I have to think about that. Negative, nightmares, persistent pain, shock, anxiety, depression. So yeah, nothing new there. And interestingly enough, on these court cards, it looks like we're not being introduced to a historical witch, and that's a bit of a shame really, because that was the appeal of the deck, to learn a little history of our ancestral witches and shamans. Never mind, let's have a little look at a major, and we'll go Temperance. Let's go Temperance. Okay. So again, the same image, we have the same flowers. She has a scythe there, lots of flowers here around the belt. So she's been collecting herbs. An older woman. And yes, we still have 1 foot on land, 1 in the water. Still got the irises and the mountains there are in the background. Sure, let's have a look at the entry. Temperance, 14. This is Biddy Early. And it says, we are at the height of the 19th century, and every morning Biddy Early leaves her Irish cottage to gather the medicinal herbs, the waters of the sacred spring, and the first dew, all of which will make the darkness light. She seals them in a blue bottle that was a gift from her dead son, who won it for her in a contest with the fairies. From the time she was a child, she has listened to the wisdom of the fairies, learning to probe daily occurrences with one eye, as she observes the secrets of nature with the other. She mixes both into her potions, because any ingredient in the proper dose can be curative if it is tempered with patience. To wait is to see, be it the rising sun in the night or the seed of reconciliation with weakness in sickness. Biddy knows all this. She was an orphan. She faced the powerful, and she worked hard as she cultivated her magic, but it never embittered her. A small, indomitable wren sits on her shoulder. When the temperance card appears, it is a spirit that watches over us. Sometimes when it comes to visit us, it looks at us with disillusion, but without resignation to the many cracks in our existence. It comes to remind us that at times the most effective act is to not act at all. The first step of healing is to name that which afflicts us. Let the purification flow from the wound after our pain. Biddy reminds us that harmony within ourselves and others leads to beauty, but is born in the shadows. And the witch's spells: positive, temperance, patience, meeting of opposites and peace; negative, extremism, impetuosity and rashness. How interesting that I chose those two cards at random. They do seem to go together, really, don't they? Okay, so that's my little walkthrough and thoughts on Ask the Witch Tarot. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know, have you got this deck? What do you think about this deck? Is it something you could use? Is it worth having? I'm actually on the fence at the moment. I was hoping there would be a little bit more background information in the book than there is, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not over the moon about it. I've got my This Might Hurt Tarot, which has, to me, the same kind of art style. It was really this picture here that drew me to the deck. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until the next video, take care. Bye.